I'm Charlie Bright of Gold Derby, and today I'm speaking with Blake Neely, the composer for the Amazon Prime or documentary Good Night Oppy about the two Mars rovers searching for the signs for potential capacities for water on Mars. First question I wanted to ask you, Blake, is what sort of instruments and sounds did you use to convey the setting of outer space? Because that's quite a setting to try to score for.
Yeah, I went pretty standard orchestration for most of it because there are some computery and metallic sounds in the score that float about here and there, but mostly I use traditional piano and orchestra because we wanted to really bring these things to life. And so to use electronic music on electronic devices just felt like it wasn't going to do the trick. So yeah, it's pretty standard orchestration. There's sometimes a joke among composers like you can't use piano in space, but there's a lot of piano in this space movie.
This actually dovetails into the next question I wanted to ask. Often we see composers use specific instruments to convey specific tones within a film. And I was wondering, did you do that? And if so, what instruments did you use for which tones?
Yeah, when it's interesting when we first see the rovers in the movie in the opening, and also when you see them land and unhatch. I chose specifically to use piano because to me they're like little kids. They're like little kids that have been sent out there all by themselves. And it just felt lonely and innocent to score them with piano. And then Opportunity gets a lot of oboe, and Spirit uses, there's a lot of brass. The scary parts of the movie. There are some scary parts in the movie, the landing sequences. Were really big and percussive. So it just depended on the scene. And then oddly enough, a lot of the scientists back home got the more electronic score behind them.
So one of the things that's been so interesting to see with the movie, with this documentary, has been people's reaction to it when they watched it. And I was wondering, what was your reaction like when you actually watched the documentary?
I was fascinated from the beginning, but I see documentaries out of order. So Ryan will finish a scene and send me a scene, and then he starts stitching it together. They had it written, they had the whole story written, but they had thousands of hours of NASA footage to go through and put together a sequence. So once I would get these big sequences, start watching them, I didn't really see the whole thing stitched together for 6 months maybe into the project. So then once you got the whole narrative of, supposed to be there 90 days and they end up being there 15 years, they had to come up with different missions for them. Weren't planning on any of this. Didn't know about the solar winds. And yeah, it was just fascinating. And I can watch it again and again as I have.
Oh, how many times have you watched it?
Oh, I've probably seen it, to score it, you watch a film over and over. So I've probably seen it about 30 or 40 times, but yeah, it's interesting. You would think that this movie comes across as a science lesson, but it's ingenious how they're feeding this information to you in a very entertaining way.
So this is actually another project that you've done with Ryan White. You've done several projects with him. How did that working relationship start, and what's kept it going all these years?
It started, I read a piece that HBO was making a documentary on the case against Proposition 8, which will allow gay marriage. And he was making this documentary about it. And for some reason, I just thought I want that project. So my representatives tracked him down somehow. I started sending him demos, and we laugh about it now. He likes to say I stalked him, and he and his co-director at the time, Ben Kotner, were not yet looking for a composer. And when they did, they pulled out this demo of mine and called me in for a lunch. So that's really just how we started. And I said, I really haven't done that much documentary work. And he said, I haven't either. And we just started together, and it just became a real, the great thing about working with the same people is you develop this trust and shorthand. So over the years, it's become very easy to understand what he wants with with a few conversations. So we did a documentary on Serena Williams. We did a documentary series called The Keepers on Netflix. We did one on Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and then here came Mars.
Um, uh, I'm getting back into the subject of the documentary. I was curious as to is space exploration and that sort of thing, is that something that's always has been something that's fascinated you in the past?
Oh, fascinating. I was my first school project was building a space shuttle in sixth grade. I was built a space shuttle model. I've always been fascinated with space and the moon. So to be able to do something like this was, I mean, it was an immediate yes.
And this is something that's a bit more that I've always wondered about. And I was looking at your filmography, and I found myself asking myself this. It always seems like composers have several projects that will come out in a single year. And I'm curious as to how are composers able to put out so much work every year?
Well, this one we finished a year ago. So I finished working on this just about a year ago today. So it just kind of sat. It's like when an actor's in 3 movies at the same time. They've usually been put away and are coming out soon, because Amazon really wanted to get this ready and position it right so that as many people could see it as are going to see it. But I also do several projects at a time, and it's just really nice to be able to not just come in and say every day I'm writing this. I can come in and write what I, according to schedule, what I'm feeling for the day. So that's a nice luxury, and to keep it fresh and changing.
Sort of to go along with that, you have this very extensive filmography as a composer, and I was curious, is there any type of genre or type of movie or type of project that you really would love to compose a score for, you just haven't had the opportunity yet?
No, I wish I could say there was, but I just have been so happy with what I've been working on. I'm not, I'd love to do a Western. I think that'd be fun. I've done some period pieces, and I've done action and superheroes. I've just had these great opportunities. So I really just think, what's the next really inspiring project? Something like this is a movie you don't do because you want to pay the bills, or, you want to do this because you've always loved space. And this is a huge palette to work with and to write for. So who knows? Maybe there'll be another one that comes along this year like it.
So we are we are an awards site, and you had you had your own awards run last year when you took home an Emmy for composing the opening theme for The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. And I was wondering, what was your experience like winning that Emmy last year?
Oh, that was incredible. After I think it's been 20 years working in television, and just, I mean, I don't do it for awards, but it's such a great honor because it's from your peers. That's other composers have voted for that, so that felt great, and a huge accomplishment. And then we just won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Documentary and Best Documentary Score. That was incredible to win. We were in New York for that. And equally as important, that's judged by critics. So not the toughest customers, but it's really exciting just to get the recognition.
And I meant to congratulate you on that. That was a fantastic honor to receive.
I didn't know if the news had gotten to you yet.
Yeah, it did. It did. I saw the press release, but that was before the weekend, so everything else happens between then. Well, Blake, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you all the best over this upcoming awards season. And to all of our viewers, please like this video, smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to go to goldderby.com and use the Gold Derby app to make your predictions for this year's Oscars. Thanks so much, Blake.
Thank you so much, Charlie.